Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have some pretty crazy, kind of sad news going on over here, where we now actually have confirmation from Phil Spencer himself, the Xbox head honcho, that apparently Xbox is now actually canceling one of their upcoming and also pretty hyped up hardwares that a lot of folks are getting really hyped up for in terms of Xbox, where it seems like it's number one, going to be canceled, at least in the foreseeable future, and two, it's because it just might have been a little bit too expensive for them to actually go and mass produce and make in a pretty good way. Now, this is kind of a somewhat short-lived design and hardware too, but overall, it was kind of neat. So let's go and talk about a bunch of random things. Let's go talk about a bunch of random features. And as well, if any of you guys are brand new, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on as well for our brand new $500 either Xbox, PlayStation, or $500 cash giveaway. We also have the Twitter and Twitch stream down below in case you guys want to follow. And of course, the Target links and Amazon links too as well, if you guys want to sign up and check that stuff on up, all down below. So let's go and dive into the video. So if any of you guys may have missed this, we've kind of been on the big hardware kick these past few months. We've had Sony announcing brand new headsets, brand new Pro controllers, God of War controllers, and VR. Well, Xbox has always been very consistent when it comes with Xbox and Xbox accessories and all of that. But Xbox also has done other things such as having your basically TVs having a built-in iteration of Game Pass, and as well also pushing on both PlayStation and Xbox sides cloud gaming. Now, cloud gaming is going to be one of the next big future hits, I believe, and a lot of these big companies, Amazon, PlayStation, Xbox, and you guys can go and name it, have been investing billions of dollars to make this live streaming and also live cloud gaming and cloud hosting a real proper thing. But sometimes it may not come true. A good example is with Google Stadia, where they invested a lot of money into games, into game licensings, into literally making brand new individual games. And even though they had a cool hardware, they had Google behind them with a bajillion dollars of backing, at the end of the day, it just didn't really seem like it was really worth the money. And now it does seem like Phil Spencer himself is now saying that Xbox is canceling their brand new Xbox hardware and they're shelving the game streaming box because it just cost too much. Now, to kind of give you guys a little bit of the quick head, I might touch on the article, but basically this little box right here, a new quick little zoom in for you guys, this little bad boy right there. This was a huge rumor around a few months ago and even farther away, like maybe 2 years ago, because a lot of folks pretty much like saw this and they thought it was going to be a real thing. Now, what I mean by that is a lot of these things out here are like hyped. They wanted to use it. Like we saw the integration of this PlayStation, the Xbox into the TV, like the Samsung TVs, where Game Pass was automatically coded into an app and you were able to then use the cloud gaming to essentially go and play without even owning an Xbox. Like if you had an Xbox Series X or S, you didn't need it. Like it's fine. It was totally fine just to go through it and go get your stuff. Now, this is where this little box came in. The idea behind this was it was basically like a little Roku stick or an Apple TV box. And you'd essentially have a little USB. You plug it into your actual, like, your TV itself, if you didn't have like one of those built-in Samsung TVs, or maybe even like a monitor. Like say you have like a gaming monitor, how I am for my PC setup, and you'd be able to go and plug it on in with your USB, and then you'd be able to go and just use the cloud gaming and your Game Pass to obviously go and play your games. And I think in theory, it seemed awesome because we don't have anything super simplistic like say for PlayStation, and that would kind of make the barrier of entry really easy for everyone else. Now, what I mean by that is that the barrier entry itself would probably be like very easy and very basic. Like I like the idea of this. I think it's good. Like at the end of the day, I think it's good. And I probably would have maybe bought one. Now, an Xbox Series X at $500, I don't know. It's usually for me more casual indie games. I wouldn't mind if it was streamed at like 720p or with like a lesser like TV, or even use this little box to go and highlight stuff. I probably would have bought it. Let me know if you guys would have yourself. But apparently this like very nifty and cool idea is now being canceled, at least at the time being, and that's kind of sad for me to hear. Xbox boss Phil Spencer has revealed Microsoft's decision to pivot away from its previously announced Game Pass streaming box earlier this year was basically due to pricing concerns. And now a lot of folks were curious because this was rumored like 2 years ago, and it just seems like it just wasn't applicable. With the company which is basically unable to get its device within its desired like $99 to $129 price bracket, because I'm sure like you already have the Xbox Series S at $200, even $49 sometimes at this point, and you'd assume no one wants to buy a little stick when they can just go and buy the Xbox Series S for let's say $50 more if the final price ended up being $130. So at the end of the day, it is a little bit of a stranger thing because I mean, $100, I probably would do it. Like, I keep on always saying it's really nice, especially for Game Pass. If you guys say, go to college, you have a dorm, you go and like you live at home, or maybe you have divorced parents, or maybe like you just maybe work a lot, or maybe you sometimes are on remote. Like, there's a lot of different various things, maybe travel, whatever it might be. It'd be worthwhile to go bring that with you. Like, if I was a traveling salesman or had to do company meetings, I'd probably be okay to go and have a random $100 Xbox thing, just bring it around if I'm bored and want to play games. That is also easier than an Xbox Series S and X, and maybe also even easier than a laptop. So speaking on the latest episode of The Verge's Decoder podcast, Spencer explained the console we built that now people have seen, which is, the leaks, and we've even made videos on it with the little hardware, was more expensive than we wanted to be when we actually built it out with the hardware that we had inside. Which, I mean, I guess it makes sense. You don't want to go and make people have to pay $1 bajillion like we just talked about, but man, this would have been a really nifty piece of tech to have. Microsoft never actually formally revealed this version of its streaming box, which was codenamed Keystone, but a standalone device utilizing a familiar Xbox user interface, according to Spencer, but it did set Tungus wagging when a prototype showed up in a photo of the Xbox boss's office last month. And you guys may remember that. We did make a few videos on it, and it was kind of looking like this. Like, some folks were curious if it was like a little, little mini Xbox Series S, like a little, I guess, toy, or if it was a real thing. But apparently this actually was the Keystone. Like, it literally was apparently put in there for good reason. So Microsoft, as we mentioned, never formally did reveal it, but we had like a little bit of little talks about it. I think there was maybe some showcase on E3s, and as well with that TV talk and then like the little picture we showed you guys, it made a lot of sense. People were waiting for it. So a bunch of us took this version home, and it worked. So like this was like almost product ready. They said it worked really, really well, Spencer added. But when you are building new products, it's always about, do you have the right design? Do you have the right user interface? Do you have the right consumer propositions? And the customer proposition includes the price. I think all of us knew that we were a little out of position on price. That, he said, was down to some of the silicone choices that we're making at the time we were designing, as well as Spencer's desire to include a controller. So, I mean, if you want to usually assume most controllers are at least like $40 to $60 just to maybe make, or at least have a profit margin, that would also be making that $129 price point, which is the higher price point, even harder to go and maintain and manage, which I would completely agree with. Now, I think this would have been so sick, and I think a lot of people would have bought it. But like I said, if it was like $150, I don't think a lot of people, it would have been a weird price point. So as for the price Microsoft had been aiming for, while Spencer didn't want to announce pricing specifically, he did say, I think you've got to be around the $129 or even $99 range, like somewhere in there, for that to make sense. He elaborated further elsewhere in the podcast, explaining when you've got a Series S at $299, which I've also mentioned, we've seen on sale for even $250, I think in order for a streaming-only box to make sense, the price delta to the S has to be pretty significant. Now, I'd also probably agree with this too as well, mainly because the price point, like if it's a streaming box, like you look at a Roku, you look at the Amazon Fire, or all these different things, as you guys go with it, it just makes sense to have it cheap, make it sense, make it easy. That's how it should be. And I think at least Phil Spencer is right on that, but sometimes you could have a really cool product that you think people would actually use, people would actually enjoy, and as you go and do that, it kind of just goes to show that, well, I mean, if you just can't get the price right, it's not worth it. It's kind of like if you want to go have a really good Ford Focus or, Fiat or whatever. Yeah, you can maybe have it maybe at 20, 30K, but if, let's say you have this awesome car, it looks exactly like that, fuel efficient or whatever, but it's $800,000, then guess what? You just don't have the market for it, and that's kind of an extreme example. I think that's kind of the mindset Phil Spencer had. So basically, they did not go and fully get rid of this hardware, though. What they say, while Microsoft hasn't abandoned its ambitions for an Xbox streaming box, it said it would refocus efforts on a brand new approach. So in theory, this means that this box is canceled, it is done, and it's kind of sad to see because, like I said, this would be a pretty cool product. Earlier this year, though, Spencer recently did go and tell Wall Street Journal it's now likely that any such in the company is now years away. So it does kind of seem like price concerns kind of got to Phil Spencer, and I think that's kind of at least nice, because, I mean, if the product might be a flop and it may not be worth actually getting, then at the end of the day, it kind of makes sense to just kind of drop it, take your losses, and go from there. But the real question is, would you guys go and ever use like an Xbox Game Pass like this? Like a little streaming, a little USB kind of Roku home style type thing? I think I would. I think I'd be very down with that, and I think I would. So I would like to hear your thoughts and comments on it down below. And as well, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on, as well for the brand new PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, or $500 giveaway. We have the Twitter and Twitch stream down below for bonus entries, and we have the Target and Amazon links down below. And I appreciate you guys all so much for watching in the first place.